When Hitler's high-ranking officers heard about Hiroshima, their reaction was caught on a secret hidden recording. What they said next shocked the entire world. But before we uncover their secret recordings, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into untold stories. What happened in 1945? It was an ordinary summer day of 1945 at a quiet countryside estate in England, or at least that's what it seemed like. But inside that very estate, which is called Farm Hall, history was about to change unexpectedly. The place wasn't a farm, but a secret British prison that housed 10 of the Nazi Germany's top nuclear masterminds. Men who had once worked directly under Hitler's command were racing to build a weapon that could change the world, for the worse or the better. They thought the war was over for them. They were just sitting there, waiting to go home. What they didn't know was that everything around them was bugged. Imagine you're sitting in the room, sharing top secrets with everyone, only to know everyone is hearing you. The British intelligence, which had planted hidden microphones everywhere, did this. Every single word that they spoke was being recorded. Nobody knew that one night would capture one of the most shocking reactions in human history. The news break. Overnight, big news arrived. A British officer had entered the room with a newspaper in his hand and was informed that an American bomb had ruined the entire city of Hiroshima. Now, this is the news we've only heard on TV, but what exactly happened here? We're going to cover it, but before that, the Germans looked at this British guy in disbelief. They couldn't comprehend why they would attack Hiroshima, and with one bomb? Impossible! They didn't believe him. Some even thought it was Allied propaganda, just another attempt to humiliate them. But when the officers described the destruction, the blast radius, the blinding light, and the radiation, things started to feel real. Germany's top physicist and the man who led Hitler's nuclear program, Werner Heisenberg, stopped smiling. He reached for a piece of paper, pulled out his pencil, and started doing calculations. The other scientists watched as he filled line after line with numbers. Minutes passed in silence, and then Heisenberg stopped and revealed that it's real and they actually did it. Just like that, everything changed. Now, on to the man who had discovered nuclear fission, Otto Hahn. Thanks to his processes, atomic energy became possible. Now, this guy, he started looking sick to his stomach. I mean, think about it. You invent something that ends up killing 100,000 people. Pretty insane, right? So, he stood up and walked to his room. Everyone thought he was going to end up killing himself, while the rest began arguing. Karl Friedrich von Weizsäcker blamed the Nazi government. They never gave us enough funding. But Kurt Diebner disagreed and informed them that they had people and the money, but they just made the wrong decisions. Here, Heisenberg tried to defend himself, claiming that they had focused on reactors rather than weapons, and that their goal had been to produce energy instead of deadly bombs. But even his own team doubted that. Some of them seemed almost relieved they hadn't succeeded. Others were furious. Then, one scientist, Paul Hartek, said something that cut through all the noise. He even admitted that they had simply fallen behind, acknowledging that the Americans were superior and that they had to accept it. Those words pierced them like a bullet. For the very first time, they realized Germany had lost the race long before Hiroshima. The technical truth. That night, Heisenberg could barely sleep. He kept scribbling equations to understand just how the Americans had done it. But by morning, he had a rough idea. He gathered everyone around and started explaining the two ways to make the bomb. He believed the bomb was created with either uranium or plutonium, which requires heavy industrial plants and enormous facilities to obtain. After a little pause, he admitted that their method was too lazy and expensive. Then, he went on to explain how the Americans had built the massive gaseous diffusion plants and factories the size of entire towns. You won't believe that these guys had been working in basements with the Americans, operating in entire cities. This comparison revealed that race was more than just intelligence, but about having greater power, more money, more people, and more stability. This painful realization became clear to the scientists who had once believed Germany led the world. It was America's industrial strength that had made the impossible possible. That night, the scientists weren't the only ones listening. 3 German generals were also held at Farm Hall. They didn't utter a word until General Erich von Steen finally broke the silence. Calmly, he pointed out that everyone was missing the bigger picture. The bomb wasn't just about ending the war with Japan. It was meant to end all of the wars, forever, for good. Scientists were baffled by the gravity of these words. Von Steen explained that whoever had this weapon would control the entire world. There wouldn't be any trenches, tank battles, or armies, only threats, leverage, and fear. He paused and informed me that America now holds more power than any empire in history combined. That's when the whole room fell silent again. For the first time, they could see what the generals already understood. And it wasn't the science behind the bomb, but the future it shaped. This weapon was the turning point for all mankind. Germany never stood a chance. Von Steen's words hit everyone like a gun. Little did they know, even greater shocks were yet to come. America had 130 million people, while Germany barely had 70 million. Protected by vast oceans while surrounded by enemies, scientists slowly realized he was right. Building atomic bombs required more than intelligence. It demanded time, safety, and endless money. All things wartime Germany lacked. Heisenberg sighed, noting how the Americans were safe behind the Atlantic Ocean, while Germany was bombed every single day. Germany's nuclear program had around 100 scientists as compared to America's Manhattan Project with over 130,000 workers. Germany had spent $50 million on research, while America poured in $2 billion. This made it clear to everyone that Germany never really stood a chance against America's massive resources. Then everyone started talking about Hitler. What did this guy truly know? He understood the assignment. He knew the power of nukes. Heisenberg recalled meeting him in 1942, trying to explain atomic weapons' potential. Hitler's response was cold and dismissive. He wanted instant results, not just long-term science, favoring things like rockets, jets, and supertanks over just theories. One scientist even muttered that Hitler saw nuclear physics as Jewish science. The cruel irony being that the very scientists Hitler expelled, Einstein, Bohr, Fermi, and all those who helped America win the atomic race. One man even said that they gave them the best they could, and Hitler let them go. The room went silent as Heisenberg finally said, "He destroyed our chances through hatred, arrogance, and stupidity." The generals 100% agreed,
The
knowing it was
children's
true.
lives hang by a thread.
Hitler's racism and
It's not
impatience
enough
had
just to
cost
reach the
Germany the
bridge.
war long
They're
before
still
the
in
bombs
grave
even
need
fell.
of help.
Before we head on to the actual truth, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives. The actual truth. As the night went on, the truth started coming out and became impossible to deny. Germany could never have built the atomic bomb, not because they didn't have the knowledge, but because of what their leader had become. His hate had pushed even the smartest scientists away. His ego had stopped long-term research, and his paranoia turned some of his closest friends into enemies. Even if they had somehow succeeded, von Steen said they couldn't have used the bomb because, think about it, by the time it was ready, Germany would already be destroyed. So, it'd be useless. The scientists sat quietly and realized that everything they had worked for was all for nothing. America had won because of democracy and inclusion, while Germany simply lost due to dictatorship and immense hate. Before the night truly ended, one scientist was thinking about what most of us are thinking right now. What would happen next? Von Steen simply replied that now they lived in America's world and could only hope that this great power would be used wisely. That's when the microphones clicked off. The British intelligence had recorded every single moment, including their arguments and the harsh truths. Now, what those tapes captured was more than just a story of the atomic bomb. They showed why Nazi Germany fell and why science driven by hate could never win. These recordings literally became one of the most important pieces of evidence after World War II. While these secret recordings reveal how close Germany was to developing the atomic bomb, they also show why they never succeeded. When the Americans dropped their bombs on Hiroshima, there's no doubt that the war had ended, but through this bomb, it shattered Germany's belief that they were the smartest people in the world. This moment was a big truth bomb for them, and it clearly showed that intelligence alone isn't enough to create real power. What truly makes a difference is cooperation and teamwork. As Hitler's leadership divided people through hate and suspicion, America took an entirely different approach. The US brought together scientists from all around the world, including refugees fleeing war, immigrants seeking a new life, and brilliant minds from many countries. These people had a single goal in mind: to survive and help end the war. They wanted to do this by uniting their knowledge and efforts. That's how they were
Imagination is more important than knowledge.
A weapon that could rewrite history forever. The scientists at Farm Hall were listening to the news and reflecting on their own work. They finally understood that their failure wasn't because they lacked knowledge or talent, but because of the environment they worked in. The war was lost in the mind of a dictator who refused to listen to reason and voices that could have actually helped Germany succeed. This realization was a painful and haunting one behind Hitler's lost atomic dream. The recordings at Farm Hall gave us a unique window into the minds of these scientists, capturing their shock, disbelief, and sorrow. They revealed just how closely history was shaped through ideas, decisions, and the outcome of the war. It wasn't just the tech or science that determined the outcome of the war, but the human qualities of trust and collaboration. This story serves as a strong reminder for us that even the intelligence of the GOATS, greatest of all times, can be wasted without cooperation and unity. Knowledge alone can't win battles or change the world. It takes a lot of people to work together, share their ideas, and support one another. The Americans understood this and used it to build a team that was far stronger than any nation alone. So, looking back, it's clear how devastating the effects of hate and division can be. Hitler's refusal to accept help from others, his mistrust, and focus on quick results over careful planning all contributed to Germany's failure. While some people might disagree with this, his tragic mistakes show us how dangerous it is when power is held by someone unwilling to listen to others or change. So, what do you guys think? Was Hitler's downfall inevitable because of his choices, or could things have turned out differently if he had embraced trust and collaboration? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe before you leave.